Okay, this is how I do embroidery on my sewing machine. This is the design I'm gonna be sewing. What I start with is I put the files on my computer here, and I just drag the one that I want from here over to here. That puts it on this machine, and it's this, and then I load it up and it's ready to go. I can adjust things. So in this case, if I want to make sure that it's centered, in this case I want to move it over just a little bit, make sure it's centered. And then I can start. The first color is this blue. Lower the presser foot. And, oh, before I do that, this embroidery hoop, this has special water-soluble interfacing on the top that keeps everything like in place so that the sewing doesn't get bunched up. Underneath, I've got 2 layers of this interfacing that also helps support the sewing. And the frame is attached right here, the frame under there, to this arm, which is what moves. This is what the computer controls. It moves this way and this way, depending on what the program tells it to do to make the patterns. So I just press this button to start, and there it goes. I like to trim off that thread if I can. There, get that out of the way. So it just starts off by doing an outline, and then it fills it in kind of lightly, just to get the fabric sort of staying in place so it doesn't get bunched up. Okay, I'm going to pause it, and we'll come back once it's almost done with this horseshoe shape. Okay, so we're almost done with the satin stitch part. I forgot to mention those white lines that you can see, like the cross. That's something that I put on there. It's just thread. It's marking exactly where I want the design to go. Once I'm all done, I take it off. It's just about done with this part, then it's going to do the outline. So I'll come back when it's finished with the outline. Okay, just about done with the outline here. You can see it's just doing a little tiny satin stitch. And it automatically cuts the thread, and it's in position for the next color. The next color is a lighter blue. Sometimes the colors that they tell me to do on this are pretty close to what I'm supposed to do, but usually they're not. There's so many different sewing machines and thread makers that it just doesn't match up to what I use. So I usually ignore it. It just happens that this time it's pretty close to what I'm actually using. So I'm going to change the thread, and then we'll come back. Okay, change the thread. Now I just have to start. And it's just doing a few little dots, so this won't take long at all. Second one. Trim this up. And it leaves a little thread in between each dot, but after it's all done, I'll go in and cut those out, so it'll just leave the little dots. change the color and do the last part. I'm going to show you this because I think it's really cool. When I get the thread in, I put it in this little gizmo here, and I press this button down, and it automatically threads the needle for me. So I think that's really cool. Pull it through. There. And I'm ready to start the yellow. And see, this is an example. It says cream brown, but it's really supposed to be yellow. So start that. The outline there. Trim off that thread. Get that out of the way. And I'll come back when it's gotten a little farther along. Okay, so we're partway through the satin fill stitch here. Pretty soon it's going to move down to the bottom of that yellow area and work up. There it goes. That helps keep the fabric from getting puckered. Almost done. It's going to do an outline on this too after it's filled in with the satin stitch. So I'll come back when it's almost done and we can watch it finish up. Partway through the outline here, but this is where you can probably see it best. See the difference between non-outlined and outlined. I don't know if this camera quality is good enough to really see the detail though. Done with the outline. That's it. And it tells me that it's finished sewing, and I say, okay. Now, lift the presser foot. Take this off of here. Okay. So next thing I need to do is just trim off these little threads. Okay, so I've trimmed off the threads. This is what the back looks like. And I just need to loosen this, take off the frame. And this layer of interfacing actually comes off, it just tears right off. That. This stays on. This is part of my, what I use for my pattern and gives support to the fabric. This is very soft, kind of stretchy fabric. This is kind of the fun part, tearing this off. And I get to really see what it looks like. There. And any little bits of this stabilizer that I can't pull off will just wash out. And then I just trim off the threads, and then it'll be ready to sew up. And that's it. Bye.